Thanks to a new level to the dragons and the new Skywagon Siege, Super Dragons have seen a massive surge in strength, along with a strong new charge making waves in the game. So let's break down everything you need for this attack strategy to 3-star any base, no matter your town hall level. For starters, let's focus on the equipment each hero needs, starting with the Grand Warden, where we have his Eternal and Healing Tomes. This is always strong to provide support for the Super Dragons, Siege Machine, and Minion Prince as they move into the base. This overall gives you enough survivability with the invulnerability for a short duration, and healing for a bit longer duration, while being able to keep the Super Dragons alive for a bit longer. As for the Dragon Duke, you have the new Electro Fangs and Stun Blaster. While odd to not have the Fire Heart, it's overall just as good, with the Electro Fangs offering the chain damage while attacking defenses, and the Stun Blaster to be used after all invisibility spells have expired, giving the Duke a little bit more time to get extra value. If you lack the Electro Fangs or still want to use the Fire Heart, you also have combos like the Electro Fangs and the Fire Heart combo, or the Fire Heart with the Stun Blaster, especially for those without the Electro Fangs unlocked. With the Minion Prince, having his Dark Orb and Meteor Staff tends to be his best option, as it offers some passive damage for your army so long as he is alive, with the meteors hitting nearby defenses while having survivability in the form of a slow on defenses with the Dark Orb, allowing for more of your troops to survive different areas of the base. You can also alternatively use the Dark Crown and Dark Orb for increased power for the Prince, or you can use the Dark Orb and Henchman Puppets if you lack any epic equipment. Lastly is the Archer Queen, where having her action figure and giant arrow is all you need, with the ability to snipe air defenses and sweepers while having survivability when funneling. This overall combines support and survivability for her, as she is just there to funnel while possibly sniping a few defenses. Ideally, if you lack the action figure or the ores to upgrade it, focus on the giant arrow and healer puppets to keep her alive while funneling. The first part in this army is the Dragon Duke charge. While similar to a Royal Champion charge, it's much stronger, with the Dragon Duke's high damage when left alone, along with his fairly high HP pool. This charge, however, may prove difficult at first, with him having a very short 0.3 tile range, making it very difficult to place invisibility spells without turning other things invisible in the process. And without the Spirit Fox, you'll often be using invisibility spells back to back. In this case, you'll often use at least 6 invisibility spells to keep him alive, and with the invisibility spells having a 4-tile radius, it's not impossible to place your spells. With that said, placing each invisibility spell 4 tiles away from the closest tile of a building allows the Duke to still be within attacking range without turning the building invisible. While you won't be spot on with your placement, keeping in mind the range to keep them at will allow you more success as he charges through compartments. So focus on creating funneling with this charge, as with no recall or revive spell, his job is just to get as much of the base down while setting up proper pathing for the main Super Dragon push. If you're using his Electro Fangs, this will chain to nearby buildings so long as they are fairly close to each other, which most bases will have areas of decent chain. You additionally have rocket balloons to control the pathing of your Duke as he moves between defenses. However, his abilities are often dependent on how you like to use the Dragon Duke. He can still use the Fire Heart and Stun Blaster like normal to get a solid funnel, and would make at least 1 revive with him very strong, but you can also use the Fire Heart with the Electro Fangs, so as to take advantage of the Electro Fangs chip damage and the Fire Heart's death damage. Or you can use the Stun Blaster with the Electro Fangs to get additional value by stunning all nearby defenses and enemy troops while he keeps attacking safely. Just be sure to avoid poison spell towers as much as possible, as it will decrease the charge's attack rate very quickly and can be very difficult to deal with, especially in the middle of a charge. Invis towers can also be annoying, but are easily dealt with by a skeleton spell and invisibility spell. Moving from the complex Duke charge to a simple funnel setup with the Archer Queen and baby dragons. With the Archer Queen, you'll often use her to cut off the funnel for your super dragons, namely used parallel to where your Duke charge started, while also sniping defenses such as air defenses and sweepers. This enables you to clear out value inside the base while funneling with the Archer Queen while being tanked for by her giant. You'll also want to funnel trash buildings from where your Duke charge started by using just 1 or 2 baby dragons around the area. This cleans up buildings super dragons might split to and keeps the bulk of your army inside the base. With both funnels set, this enables your super dragons to go between your 2 funnels. Since they're quite tanky while doing a lot of damage, having rage, totem, and free spells allows us to support them quite far into the base. Additionally, we have the Skywagon Siege Machine to provide additional support with 150 extra housing space worth of air troops along with air troops from your CC. This way, as you push into the base, using a rage spell followed by your Warden's Eternal and Healing Tomes to keep all the super dragons alive is critical, especially as they enter the base. This should allow the super dragons to deal lots of damage as they move through the core of the base, where having the Minion Prince's Dark Orb to slow down back-end defenses helps a lot in keeping most of the dragons alive. As for the other spells you have, tone spells are mainly designed to distract defenses and push that damage away from your troops, especially for air defenses or guardians. You can also use the poison spell you have to slow guardians if you have no need for it on the defensive CC troops. As for free spells, this is best used against splash damage defenses like Inferno Towers or stalling defenses long enough to deal with them with the super dragons. With good funneling and spell usage, this will crush bases with ease, especially with how strong the new Siege and Dragon Duke Charge are. Now that you understand how this army works, this is the army comp I recommend you use to 3-star nearly every base between Town Hall 16 and Town Hall 18 with reliable success. Each army link will be within the description, but with that said, let's give you a visual example for this army to help you 3-star any base without fail. To start this attack off, we're going to be using some rocket balloons to control where he's going, so that way we're able to use the Dragon Duke after those balloons die and start using our invisibility spells every 4 seconds, but just enough so the Dragon Duke doesn't, or the invisibility spells do not turn the building invisible while keeping the Dragon Duke in that invisibility. It's a very tight window, but you'll still be able to get it, and a lot of bases have some decent chain like this. This way it's going to allow you to clear a lot of buildings, and with the stun blaster, it's going to allow you to get a little bit more despite not necessarily being nearly as strong as the Fireheart. But having that stun blaster gives you a little bit extra. That way you're able to clear out a funnel on one side with the Queen and her giant arrow on the other. This is usually aimed to get any air defenses and sweepers. In this case, we don't get either, but we are able to set up a funnel with the Yeti and the Queen on one side, and of course the baby dragons on the other to clear out trash buildings. This allows us to send in our balloons, super dragons, our Skywagon Siege, and our heroes to move right between our 2 funnels. Tome spells should be used in order to redirect a lot of that damage away from them, especially things like the air bombs or even the Revenge Tower. As we continue to work in a little bit deeper, we're going to use a Rage spell and the Eternal Tome and Healing Tome ability in order to keep everything alive. This is going to really push the super dragons quite far into the base since they already have a lot of HP. And with the Dark Orb, we're able to slow defenses down, or even the Guardian, and we can slow that down even further with a Poison spell. This should allow most of our super dragons that are kind of working around the base enough time to move between buildings, maybe get to any back-end air defenses since they do have a lot of HP. And they overall will be able to overwhelm the rest of the base since you have so many air troops in this army, both from the Skywagon and your main army. You should be able to easily dominate through many bases with this attack. Super dragons are just one of many ways that you can use the Dragon Duke charge to set up your main attack, but super dragons are just very powerful right now, just like any other air attack currently. Air armies are just extremely powerful, and super dragons are no exception, with plenty of strong elements from the Dragon Duke charge to the use of the Skywagon Siege to overwhelm the base and 3-star them with ease. If you want a non-super troop and non-Dragon Duke charge army, however, consider checking out my Hydra guide, but YouTube says you might prefer this one instead.